Okay, so today let's take a break on talking about individual stocks. I know I've spent a lot of time recently talking about which stocks to watch and building up a watch list and whatnot, and those videos are great too, and don't worry, those videos are not going anywhere. There will be more videos like that in the future, but from time to time I do want to make a video that sort of bring our focus back to the topic of financial independence, because this is Andy's Fire Club after all, and financial independence is the goal that we're all trying to go after, right? So if you watch other videos here on YouTube about people explaining and giving advice on how to achieve FIRE and helping you move towards FIRE, you'll notice that a lot of the times the advice that they give is not particularly that helpful, and the reason is that they're not like actions that are immediately actionable. So what I mean is that sometimes you hear advice that is like, oh, if you're making 50K a year, all you have to do is just double your salary to 100K a year and all your problems will be solved, right? Just walk into your boss's office and ask for a raise. How many times have you heard that before? Well, if it was so easy, wouldn't everyone do it, right? Like, the thing is that it's not so easy, right? So after watching those videos, you're probably sitting there thinking like,
geez, that was so helpful. I would have never figured this out on my own. Thank you so much. You changed my life completely.
Right? Like, of course, you're not like that, right? Because obviously, if you could just walk into your boss's office and ask them to double your salary, you probably would have done that already. So today we're talking about 3 things that I think are immediately actionable. So these are advice that I would give that you can do right after you watch this video. So you don't have to wait. And granted, these are not things that will immediately help you achieve FIRE, right? You can't just snap your fingers and achieve FIRE. That's not how it works. But I think that if you do these 3 things, it'll help you move towards FIRE in a pretty significant way. And if you are consistent and if you put in a lot of effort, it can make a meaningful difference in your life. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump in. Now, the first piece of advice I would give is invest $100. Now, I know everyone's financial situation is different, but you can invest $100, right? So even if you make minimum wage, here in Ontario, that's $14 an hour. So if you do the math, assuming that you only work part-time, let's say 20 hours a week, that comes to $1,120 a month. So that's $1,100 and $20 a month. So that's not like $11.20, by the way. So investing $100 is literally like less than a tenth of that. And if that's something that's important to you, you'd spend $100 a month on it, right? So just think about what your daily spending is or what your monthly spending is. You probably spend $100 on things that you don't need, right? You can just take that $100 and just like put it into investments. And now you're like, okay, what do I invest in though? Well, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know I'm an avid investor in the stock market, and the stock market is my go-to place. And I'm an avid user of Wealthsimple Trade as well. So if you sign up using Wealthsimple Trade, by the way, using our referral code, you'll get $10 when you deposit $100 and make your first trade. Sorry for the shameless self-plug, but I had to do it. And at least bonus points for the smooth segue. Anyways, it doesn't have to be the stock market though. It could be anything, right? It could be anything that you think that will improve your productivity. So, it could be like, for example, this roll of glow-in-the-dark toilet paper, or this neck pillow that looks like a sausage. Hey, if you think that it improves your productivity, more power to you. It probably won't even cost you $100 to buy glow-in-the-dark toilet paper. So that's advice number 1. So advice number 2 is shop around for the best credit card and the best bank account. I have a question for you. How did you end up with the current credit card and the current bank account that you have right now? Well, if you're like 95% of people, your answer will probably be somewhere along the lines of, oh, it's just the same bank that my parents banked with, right? Or it's just a credit card that came with my bank account. Or I just live near the branch of that particular bank that I bank with, right? So the answer is that you probably didn't shop around for a bank account, right? You just kind of ended up with your current bank and you didn't really like choose or between like a whole bunch before you made your decision. So my point is, most people don't shop around for these things, and I think that could be a costly mistake. And the reason for that is many banks will charge you a banking fee just for keeping your account open, or they'll have a minimum balance that you need to maintain to avoid the fee. So for example, I went on the website for CIBC, and I'm just taking CIBC as an example, but most of the banks are the same. So I'll post a screenshot of the monthly fees and the minimum balances you need to keep. And, my point is that if you're paying monthly fees on your account, my question to you is, why? Like seriously, there's plenty of free options out there like for example, Tangerine. I'm not sponsored by Tangerine, by the way, but I just use Tangerine as an example because it's a bank that I personally bank with. So I've used Tangerine products, and I still have a Tangerine account. And the good thing about Tangerine is that they do not charge you any like account minimums or like account maintenance fees or anything like that. And personally, I've never encountered a situation where there's something a regular bank account can do and a Tangerine account cannot do. So the difference is that Tangerine is just online only. So some people might not be like comfortable with not having like any branches and stuff. But honestly, like 99% of the banking you do can be done like online, right? There's hardly anything that you actually need to physically go into a branch for. And with the Roni situation these days, you probably don't want to like go outside that much, right? So you probably want to minimize the amount of like visits to the bank branch you do anyways. Like, you ever seen those Ally commercials? Ally, if you guys don't know, is like sort of like America's version of Tangerine, right? They're like the OG, where they have like a bank account that's only online and there's no physical branches and stuff. So Ally makes some pretty funny commercials actually. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those, but the one that I can remember, I'll post a link in the description if I can find it. I mean, I tried searching for it once, but I had trouble finding it. But anyways, it was like this couple, they're sitting in a waiting room at like a doctor's office or something. And then the wife goes and says to her husband, I wish I could stop paying checking fees on our banking account. And then like the old lady who's the receptionist, she's like really short and she like peers over the counter and then she like looks at them and says, if you want to stop paying checking fees, then stop paying checking fees. Like, that's it. That's the entire commercial. So like, I don't know, I thought that was great, right? So, it's just, again, it goes back to my original question. If you're paying checking fees on your bank account, why? So I think an online-only banking solution is fitting for the vast majority of people. Now, same thing with credit cards. I think it's just so worth it to spend like half an hour just to browse through all the options for the best credit cards that are available to you. Like, literally, there's websites that are devoted to doing this, right? So all you have to do is go to Google, type in the best credit card in Canada or whatever you want, right? Wherever you are, if you're not in Canada, just type in the best credit card in America or something like that, right? And then it'll just search up like all the options. And then you just spend like half an hour browsing through all the options and finding a credit card that really matches your spending habits. If you ever wonder how people afford like fancy vacations and stuff like that, if you are one for traveling, then maybe get a travel credit card, right? So they'll give you a sign-up bonus just for signing up sometimes too. So you'll get like $200-300 worth of points just for signing up. I don't know how much money you make per hour, but just think about the return that you can get on half an hour's worth of research into finding the best credit card and the best bank account. I can almost guarantee that your return on that half an hour is better than your hourly salary. That's hard to say. Hourly salary. So that's advice number 2. Now for advice number 3 is put your money to work. Now, this might be just a personal habit of mine, but I like to keep very little money in my checking account. In fact, let me show you how much money I have in my RBC checking account right now. And you can see, it's very little. And I totally did not plan this. This is just what my account looks like on any given day. Now, I do have an emergency fund, which I keep elsewhere. But aside from that, I don't touch my emergency fund, right? So aside from that, this is just how much cash I have lying around on just like a daily basis. Now, funny story actually. So there's a company called Borrowwell, which if you guys don't know, it's kind of like Credit Karma, where they keep track of your credit score. And they have this feature called Borrowwell Boost. Now what it is basically you can connect your bank account and it'll give you like tips and trick for budgeting and whatnot. So anyways, I tried to sign up for Borrowwell Boost and connect my RBC account, and it failed to link because the error message that I got was your account balance in your bank account is too low. So that's why the verification failed and it couldn't link. Now, first of all, I didn't know that there was a minimum amount that you needed to have in your bank account in order to connect your bank account. And second of all, I guess the message of all of this is, I guess Borrowwell hates poor people. Borrowwell, if you're watching, I'm sorry I bothered you with my friendship. Again, the reason why I keep so little money in my checking account is because I put almost every dollar I have to work. So I invest it, I use it to pay down debt, or I put it into my emergency fund. So I just don't see a good reason to keep more than $100 in my checking account at any given time. So I'm sure you guys know what happens when you keep too much money in your checking account, right? So, if you keep a lot of money in your checking account, it's just sitting there and you're just, sitting there looking at it and you're thinking, I have all this money, why don't I just go and spend it, right? So you end up spending it on things that you don't need, or you just end up like wasting it basically. So this is what's called phantom drain. So this is money that you have that's sitting in your checking account and it just like disappears by the end of the month and you don't know where it went and you don't know like how you spent the money, right? So I'm sure everyone experiences this, and a cure for phantom drain is just don't keep any money in your checking account in the first place. So that's my way and that's my solution to combat against phantom drain, and I think it works really well for me, and I suggest that you could look into this option as well. And now you're gonna say, wait, Andy, what about like pre-authorized withdrawals? I have to like pay my mortgage, or I have to pay my utilities, or I have to pay like car loan or whatever, right? Well, the solution for this is actually you can open up another account. So what I do is that I use my Tangerine account as sort of a sink. So all my pre-authorized withdrawals come out of the Tangerine account, and because it doesn't cost me anything to maintain that account, because it's like no minimums and it's completely free to keep that account open. So I just sign up with my Tangerine account for all my pre-authorized withdrawals. And because it's pre-authorized and I know exactly how much it's gonna be every month because they're all fixed costs, I know exactly how much money I should budget to put into that account. So that account, whose only purpose is to like pay off the pre-authorized withdrawal. So that's like what I call a drain account or a sink account. So what you need to do is just have a sink account, right? So for your checking account, your main checking account, it should be your sort of like day-to-day banking and casual spending account. Keep very little money on that, and then budget enough to put into the sink account so that you don't get hit with like not sufficient funds and you don't get your house foreclosed on you or anything. And I know RBC must hates me because every time I get paid or every time I get a deposit into my RBC account, I just take it out right away and I put it elsewhere, right? I either invest it or I just like put it into other accounts. The money just deployed elsewhere and it's just gone in a matter of like a few hours. So anyways, those are the 3 things I wanted to talk about today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll leave the video here. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you like the series. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, links down below in the description as always. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!